Hello everyone, Courtney here. Are you familiar with the term superfan? Today we will dissect two different kinds and how you can start to construct what you think your superfan could be for both a customer superfan and a company superfan. This information and exercises will help you really focus on what types of companies would gravitate towards your product so you can make every bit of your outreach effort count. Welcome to episode number 61. Let's get into it.
Where inventing, passion, and hard work intersect. Welcome to the Serial Inventing Podcast. Bite-sized, perspective-altering episodes on serial inventing and beyond. From motivating key tips on product licensing to obstacle-busting conversations on transitioning to a full-time serial product developer. Buckle your seatbelt because you're in for a ride. Warning. This podcast may motivate you to make wild decisions that will propel you forward in your inventing career and hijack more of your time for your passion. If you aren't ready to make it happen, then this podcast isn't for you.
Per usual, in serial inventing podcast fashion, let's start at the definition of what even is a superfan. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines a superfan as an extremely enthusiastic or dedicated fan. You can create and have a superfan in any industry. They are essentially a loyal customer who loves your brand. But it could also be about a topic. I would probably say that everyone is a superfan of at least one thing. You could be a superfan of basketball, or Hello Kitty, or coffee shops. You are grabbing onto something about that topic or brand that really tugs on your soul for one reason or another. Now, there is a lot of psychology about how and why this happens, but today we are talking about how to create one in two different ways. First off, let's talk about your superfan for your product. Hopefully, after spending time getting to know your product through crafting your sell sheet, you have a bit more knowledge on your product. But do you know who would be the absolute perfect consumer of your product? We talked about this in episode 51 as well within the acronym CASAR, with the first A being audience. I want you to close your eyes right now and imagine your product. Now, imagine your product in the hands of your superfan from inside a store. Now, seeing them use the product and being beyond ecstatic at its performance. Who is this person? Describe them. Write down their description. Be as absolutely specific as you can. This will help you get a good hold on the perfect consumer. It's far better to be hyper-specific, even to the point of silly, instead of super generic, because our brain will relax more and allow out-of-the-box thinking to happen easier when you allow yourself to describe without parameters. You will force your brain to think creatively, if you will. And from there, you can always easily zoom back out and focus on the parts that have repeating patterns and seem to matter about your target audience. Now, once you have written this down, answer this question next. Who would your superfan be if they didn't look like this? Who else could they be? Write down in great detail who this is. And you're going to do this one more time. If they didn't look like that, then what would they look like? These 3 paragraphs are extremely important for the future success of your product, because this helps you figure out how your buyer is making decisions. And now for the second way. If your superfan was a company, how would you describe them? This will help us to find the type of company we want to pitch to by first defining what we are looking for. What type of products do they sell? How much revenue do they make? Where are they located? What values do they hold? How many employees are there? Who makes the decisions? What product lines do they have? What are they looking for in a new product? Once again, the more detail you can create, the better. And I want you to do this 2 times more as well. I know that these are large assignments. At the end, you will have 6 paragraphs describing your customer superfan as well as your company superfan. These should guide you in your search for companies to create a hit list that really forces you to only spend time reaching out to companies that you believe are A-leads. And those extra times where I told you to come up with a different description if the first one didn't exist will help you find types of companies you might not have ever considered and get your product in front of customers you thought never existed. Thanks for tuning in and taking a few bites with me today. And remember, serial inventors don't make excuses. They make it happen. See you soon!